Welcome to the Stormsurf Videos Surf Forecast for the week, starting Sunday, January 25th. First up, we take a look at significant wave heights for the North Pacific Ocean. Notice an area, 28-foot seas, pushing over the dateline. This from a gale previously pushing off the Kuril Islands. This is the only area of significant wave development in the North Pacific Ocean currently. Let's dive into the details. First up, we take a look at the jet stream. These are winds up about 30,000 feet. They help support the formation of storms, and when those storms do form, help direct their path. Notice little area of about 140 knot winds pushing off Japan, sort of the jet kind of falling apart here, then building to 170 knots, pushing over the dateline, ridging to the north a little bit, then falling into a trough. That is this dip here north of Hawaii, and then the jet stream splits with some energy pushing up into British Columbia, the rest towards Baja. It is this dip here or trough that helps support low pressure at the ocean surface. It creates counterclockwise flow aloft, and that works its way down to the surface, and that is the classical gale or storm signature. Anyway, so this is the big area, or the only area, of support for gale development in the North Pacific Ocean. A little bit perhaps here, but this really isn't a trough. It's just nothing really. Anyway, let's put this into motion, see what's going on. As we roll into Monday, the trough basically disintegrates. It pinches off. The split continues. The U.S. West Coast continues basically blocked by high pressure. And we notice the split here in the jet stream. Notice energy starting to pull off from the jet, push to the north. We'll put this into motion. It continues to build, pushing the whole way up into the Bering Sea by Wednesday. But notice what this also does is it sends winds pushing back south and creates yet another trough here in the Gulf of Alaska. Not strong winds pushing south, but maybe enough to support a little bit of a gale or some sort of fetch, a low pressure development, certainly in the Gulf of Alaska. We roll that out, and that trough holds on into, here we are, Friday. And even then it starts fading. Notice winds really dying off here. And this whole split jet stream thing looks like it's on the verge of collapsing by Saturday night, a week out. And we roll this out into 180 hours, the end of the model run. And notice, yes, there's still some winds peeling off, but not very much. Our guess is this is just going to shut down completely. And then we'll be back to a consolidated flow. Split pattern pushing into the U.S. still, high and dry. All the weather is pushing up into British Columbia. Now, there's also some discussion by some of the models that the Madden-Julian oscillation, which is currently in the active phase, and the active phase currently supports storm development in the North Pacific Ocean, that it might actually, it's been sort of focused here, actually it's down on the equator in this area, and that it might retrograde and rebuild some. Some of the models say that, others say it's going to die, who knows, but maybe this could be the first early signs of that starting to happen. When the MJO is active, the jet stream normally starts amplifying, stronger winds, it consolidates, and that supports storm development. So something to look forward to. Next, we're taking a look, surface level winds, surface level pressure. Here's the low pressure system we saw that's generating the 28-foot seas, the remnants from a gale that was previously over the Kuril Islands. Anyway, 35 knot winds now and fading. Virtually nothing else going on in the North Pacific Ocean in terms of swell production. This low fades out, moves towards the Gulf of Alaska, and then notice on Tuesday night, a little fetch starts developing here. 30 knot winds, 35 knot winds north of the Aleutians, and those actually build and start falling south, and all this fetch is aimed south. 30 knot winds, that could generate some seas. And we put this into motion, and then we get 35 knot winds into Thursday, continuing to fall south. That looks like some potential for generating some swell, perhaps aimed at Hawaii. And also notice low pressure just continues in general here in the Gulf of Alaska, but nothing particularly organized. This is probably the best candidate. Saturday night, small little gale, 35, 40 knot winds lifting northeast, and there's the end of the model. Maybe some energy directed at the U.S. West Coast. This system here just can't seem to get itself together and doesn't make any progress to the east. So we'll see. Anyway, so there's a little hope, but nothing great. Sort of a weaker pattern than what we were seeing over the past 2 weeks, previous 2 weeks. Let's go take a look down at the surface, see what all this wind has for us in store in terms of significant sea height production. So we're going to go back in time. to Thursday, this is about 4 or 5 days ago, a secondary gale formed. There was a very strong gale, storm in fact, that pushed over the dateline and then faded. That has made large surf that's already past Hawaii and is hitting the U.S. West Coast. Not particularly large in the U.S. West Coast, but at least it's solid, longer period energy. And that's working its way down now. But this system has created yet another swell that should be arriving on the U.S. West Coast on Monday, and it's already past Hawaii and is on its way down there. Anyway, that system faded out, and then on Saturday, a new system formed off of North Japan Kuril Islands, 37-foot seas, and those are relative to Northern California about the 296, 297 degree path, and then relative to Hawaii on the, here we go. Here we are on about the 310 degree path, 313 degree path, and pushing well down the pass into the island. So Hawaii should do pretty well in terms of getting some swell. U.S. West Coast, it's a lot further away, this system was, and yeah, there'll be swell, but nothing significant. And given the long distance, it'll again be like this previous swell, long waits between sets, low number of waves per set, nothing significant, just waves. Anyway, that system fades, and notice a new area, 18-foot seas developing Wednesday night into Thursday. Here we go, 22, 23-foot seas more than likely. Relative to Hawaii, that's on about the 336 degree path, but relative to the U.S. West Coast, not at all. Notice these arrows are perpendicular to the Great Circle paths coming in Northern California and Southern California for that matter. No swell expected for the U.S. West Coast, but Hawaii should get a little something from this. Notice it's not a strong system, but it pushes reasonably close to the islands, not exactly down the Great Circle Pass, but good for sideband energy at a minimum. Anyway, roll this out into beyond, and notice then another little system here forms on Sunday. So we're a week out, confidence that extremely low, 280 degree path to Northern California, 287 to Southern California, and lifting northeast. Maybe good for a little bit of swell if it forms, and that would be a day or two into a week out. So we're talking 10 days at least. So that's kind of it for significant seas. So we've broken the forecast now into two pieces. We're trying to separate the El Nino MJO forecast from just the straight short-term forecast that talk about wind and seas and jet stream and all that sort of stuff. So we'll post this up on the site, and then you can take your pick what you want to see. Regardless, we'll do the same thing next week, same time, same channel. Thanks for watching.